am so grateful to be here amongst saints because everybody is here to help another person or something that helps them grow spiritually or in beauty and the arts, and it's just wonderful to be amongst you. I've really enjoyed these presentations. Mine is going to be the worst one, I'm sure, but that's okay. We
okay,
partner.
Huh? It's okay if it's bad. I'm sure.
It's okay. Short. I'll try and keep it really short. The Merciful Help Center is located in Carmel, Indiana, and we're a wraparound service that helps families with things like choice food pantry, where they choose, and we really focus on fruits and vegetables there, and healthy foods, and housewares. Everything's free. Furniture, large appliances. Everybody's shaking their heads. I think you guys all know, so I'm not going to continue. A lot of stuff. 22 ministries in total, 72 if you include the ones in the parish that I'm also a part of. So what we're asking for help with is tools for school specifically. So I want to tell you just a little story that just happened to me a couple days ago. I had to go get blood work at IU, and I walked in the back, and the lady brought me in. She goes, "I just know your face from somewhere." And I said, "People say that all the time. I have one of those faces." She goes, "No, I know your face from somewhere." And I'm like, okay. So I sat down. I'm like, try. Go ahead, I dare you. And she said, "I know who you are." And she goes, "Are you Jane?" I go, "Yeah, my name is Jane." And she said, didn't have my name tag on that day. She said, "You do tools for school." I said, "I do." And she said, "That makes the biggest impact for us single moms." And she started crying, and I started crying. It was a beautiful cry fest. It was so beautiful. It's really important that we do this. We need to give these kids a leg up and some self-esteem. We schedule appointments so there's no long lines. We really respect and treat them in such a dignified manner. We also are very careful to respect our volunteers' time. And the reason the people on the front of that are on there is because we consider our biggest resource our volunteers, the people in our organization, because that is where the love comes from. And there's no price on that, baby. It's really great stuff. So what we're asking for this year, you're already helping with tools for school this year, and you're providing probably 80% of the shoes. And we were able to find an amazing group called NFI that makes more affordable shoes, but in the Skechers and Fila factory. And so we were able to get shoes for about $8.99 a pair, which is pretty great. And that we're serving, we've already registered 3,960 people for this year, way ahead of our projection. And of that, 586 are Carmel students, and also 78 of those adults will be getting help as well because they're in for secondary education. So they'll get socks, underwear, and school supplies and a book bag. 21% of our registrations so far at Tools for School this year are from Carmel. And then for socks and underwear specifically is what I'm asking for next year. And why is socks and underwear so important? The reason we started it so many years ago, I think we're in our 16th year with socks and underwear, is because we had a Carmel High School counselor call us, and she was dealing with a child, a high schooler, that had come to school for the second day in a row, this day with no underwear on, the first day with tighty whities on that had racing stripes in them. And he didn't wear underwear the second day because he was so embarrassed and he was being chastised and bullied by his peers. And she just needed me to get some underwear. And she called me expecting a wraparound service would have that. And you would have thought that I would have at the time. But I didn't, so we resolved it. So we've had it ever since, socks and underwear for everybody. And we do it several times a year, but we do it here at Tools for School. We work with big organizations like Hanes and Fruit of the Loom. And the numbers are in the back page, but we need 15,840 pair of underwear, and we get them for 58 cents a piece on average. Wow. And 19,800 pair of socks. We give each person 4 pair of each, and then we need a 5th pair of socks to try on the shoes with. And the socks are about 33 cents a piece. So we work hard to keep our costs down. I appreciate it, and I appreciate hearing all of you as well. Appreciate your support. Thank you.
What was your request? I'm sorry.
I wrote it on the top, 17.5.
Okay, thank you. Society of St. Andrew.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. I didn't bring anything because it's in the pickup truck that I packed wearing this that I'll be going to glean in the morning at 6 o'clock. So sorry about that. If you need them, I can send them to you. I'm Dawn Barnes. I'm the Indiana Regional Director for an organization called Society of St. Andrew, and we are a national gleaning organization that has an office here in Indiana now. We opened in January of 2018. So our mission is to share healthy food, reduce food waste, and build community. So we organize volunteers to glean on farmers' fields. We glean their excess produce, and we give that away to local food pantries like Gleaners and about 4 food pantries here in Clay Township. So we bridge the gap between those who are food insecure and the excess that we know that is happening in our farmer fields every day. I leave at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'll glean about 600 pounds. And that'll go out. We don't own transportation or storage, so everything that we glean from the field has to go out that same day. So we are requesting a $2,000 grant that will provide over 66,000 servings here in Clay County. We know that the food insecurity rate is here, whether we like to know that or not, it is here. And that will allow us to harvest and distribute all that food from the farm into the food pantry. And that is it. I will end there. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. St. Vincent DePaul. We'll go through the litany of saints here in a minute.
Thank
Oh, that's all right.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Calissa. I'm a volunteer with St. Vincent DePaul in Noblesville. I have to say, I too am so impressed and am in awe of the decisions you guys are faced with. Wonderful opportunities here. We are an international organization. Been around for a couple of hundred years, but in Noblesville, we've been there for 25 years. This is the first time in those 25 years that we've had to come to the township trustees to ask for help. We are a food pantry that serves all 9 townships in Hamilton County, and a thrift store which does 2 things. It provides material, household items, clothing, furniture, appliances for clients in need, and everything is priced at a price point where they can afford to buy a birthday gift or whatever. I can talk about this forever, so I got to focus here. 3 types of assistance we provide is the pantry, financial assistance for rent and utility bills, and in-kind giving, which means when we get a referral from a township trustee that shows a legitimate need for furniture, clothing, household items, etc., those clients are allowed to browse our store and make those choices at no cost to them. As many of you have noted, the need for food has skyrocketed for us. In March of 2018, we noticed month by month by month by month the number of families coming to us for food. Our board of directors said, rather than every other week, we are going to have to move to, for 25 years, they were allowed to come every week to get food. This past year, we had to change it to every other week because the need has just skyrocketed. So we are asking for $20,000 to buy food, to stock our shelves. That gift from you all would amount to about $160 per Clay Township family for the whole year. So we'll buy the rest if we could just have some help. Anything else I want to say? I hope I made sense. This too is my first time here, and next time I'm bringing you a pretty pen and a flashy folder and an apple. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Carmel Police Department.
sir.
Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Mark Clark, and I am from the partnership of the Carmel Police Department and the Trinity Free Clinic to provide a free car seat clinic to our community locally. I am a certified car seat technician myself, and we are requesting $10,000 to help us fund this program for the upcoming year. So I'm going to tell you a very quick story about myself. 5 years ago, I was leaving Mass at Our Lady of Mount Carmel when I was approached by a volunteer from the Trinity Free Clinic. When she came up to me, she asked if I'd be interested in volunteering. And seeing as I was looking for an opportunity to give back to the community, I said, sure, I can do that, but I have no verifiable skills whatsoever.
Yeah.
So luckily for me, she said, you know what, we don't care, we'll figure something out for you. So my first day, I found myself partnered with Ann Gallagher from the Carmel Police Department. Ann has been running the free clinic for the car seats for over 20 years, has been running the partnership between the police department and the clinic for 17 years. Very quickly, I realized that since I was not a certified technician, that I couldn't do a whole lot except lug car seats around for her. So I said, okay, what do I have to do to get certified? So Ann sent me down to Riley Hospital for a very easy 4 days of intensive training and testing to get my certification. So through that, I now get to be a part of this program and have my hands dirty in what I'm doing every day. And I get to the beautiful bonus of getting to see the happiness that we bring to the community and to bring to local folks that maybe they can't afford to get a car seat themselves. We get to show them how to best keep their children safe, educate them on the proper way to install those car seats. And so every day I feel like I'm getting that gift back to myself from being able to give that to the community. So it's a really important thing for us. In the past year, our traditional sources of funding, primarily from hospital grants, many of those have been cut so that we no longer have that funding going forward. And so we're seeking out new ways of funding going forward so we can continue to bring this back to our community. So I want to thank you in advance for your consideration, and hopefully I look forward to us being able to partner. Thank you.
Thank you.
As somebody with 3 vehicles, 2 kids, and 6 car seats, I know how expensive they are.
Maybe you get rid of some vehicles.
Well, Connor Prairie. I didn't type it up.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Norman Burns. I'm president and CEO of Connor Prairie. My colleague Andrew Bradford, who's our Vice President Chief Development Officer, handed you materials, and we have our Chair-elect, Christine Altman, with us this afternoon. For those of you that may not be aware of this, Connor Prairie is one of America's largest outdoor living history museums. Perhaps you came there in the 4th grade, or you've been there for Symphony on the Prairie. But we're much more than that. We serve residents throughout the state of Indiana and all 50 states and foreign countries. But we're pretty much a residential museum. About 91% of our guests come from the state of Indiana, but about 60% of those come from central Indiana, the core being in Hamlin County, and many of those from Clay Township. We serve over 50,000 students across the state in 5 different states, as a matter of fact. Once again, a high percentage from Hamlin County. And we're one of Hamlin County's largest nonprofit employers. You might not have known that. We employ over 400 people, and last year, between the 400,000 people that we served and the people we employed, we had an economic impact on the state of Indiana, $44 million, and Hamlin County, $25 million. Once again, much of that in Carmel, Clay area. We have on the table in front of you a proposal related to some of our planning. When people think of Connor Prairie, they probably think about the Prairie town that opened its doors in 1974. We're still America's longest running first-person living history site. We started doing that before Colonial Williamsburg, as well as doing the student programs we're doing. Perhaps you're aware of Symphony on the Prairie and you've attended those types of concerts, or you've been to our 1859 balloon experience, which is kind of the Eiffel Tower of Hamlin County because it's become so iconic for people to see. Perhaps you've been to our Treetop Outpost, all these different programs. And you think of Connor Prairie and you think about that location on the Allisonville Road, but perhaps you were unaware that we have over 1,000 acres of land and 3.3 miles of the White River that runs right through the middle of it. Perhaps you didn't know that more than half of that property is in Carmel Clay Township. Now, we don't do a lot of program that's there. Perhaps you've played golf at Prairie View Golf Course, that we actually own that land, so that's actually part of that. But we're beginning to plan for the future of Conner Prairie. We have a 30-year master plan that we completed in 2017, started looking at implementation of that in 2018, and many of those projects, over $140 million worth of projects that will be done in the future, is going to be focused on the west side of our campus, which once again is in Carmel Clay Township. A big part of that is what we're looking to engage, once again, people, especially the residents of Clay Township, with the river itself. Conner Prairie was a big part of the White River Vision Plan and the things that we want to do as far as activation of the river, including a River Heritage and Ecology Center, as well as trails, farm experiences, energy experiences. So we're coming to you today with a request for $30,000 to help us with part of the process of beginning to look at the west side of the property, beautification and the improvements that need to be made specifically to 3 buildings there, including the old Eli Lilly farm office, the shop, and one of the barns that we want to make improvements to, and begin the process of beginning to look at how we're going to connect to Carmel Clay Park System's White River Greenway, and eventually join with them and a River Ecology Center, and connecting once again between Fishers and Carmel Clay across the river in the future. We're working actually with Carmel Clay Parks on a plan for that at this time. So our request is coming to you to begin that process.
Thank you, Mr. Burns.
Thank you.
Exciting stuff. We've got one more. Firefighter for a Day. Mr. Freer is here.
Of course, you don't even have red.
Oh, he's got it on his sheet.
Oh my gosh. Do what?
Well, thank you for having me be able to present here. My name's Keith Freer. I'm with Carmel Fire Department and our Fire Prevention Bureau. We have been able to provide a Firefighter Day Camp for the last 7 years. We've gotten a lot of community support with this, and at this time we are respectfully requesting to continue our partnership and sponsorship of $10,000 to continue this for 2020. The Firefighter Day Camp, we have it, well, I'll start with this. I'm not going to apologize for my attire today because it's actually taking place this week. We had our first day, so this is the event t-shirt. So it is a 4-day long event. We're having it again at Prairie Trace Elementary out on River Road. So if you're in the area between 9:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m., feel free to stop by and take a look at what's going on. So this is a great opportunity for us to engage with the community and the public and kids age 7 to 13. We have about 150 kids each day, 600 kids over 4 days, and it is a great opportunity to introduce them to what firefighters do and having a lot of fun doing it. They are guaranteed to get very wet before the day's done. So we have 6 20-minute activity stations that they go to. One is just a split station. They wash the fire truck, have a lot of fun doing it. And then there's also 2-dimensional spray houses with fake fire, and they put the fire out. Next, we have one of our safety trailers, and it's more of an educational, and they sit in bleachers and they look over one room, and on one side it's a living room and the other side it's a kitchen mock-up, and they are able to pick out and identify fire and safety hazards, and if they see these at home or whatever, they can tell mom and dad, hey, we need to fix this. Next, we utilize another safety house, and we actually smoke it up, and we have had the privilege to have some training devices. They're fire screens, high technical type devices, and it simulates fire in there, and they get to pretend putting that fire out, and then proceeding to go into the next room and saving the baby in fake smoke. So, and they get kids gear to dress up into, and they have a great time doing that at that station. Next, we have an obstacle course, and it's a lot of fun, burning off energy, doing that type of a thing. So, weaving through cones, going through a tunnel, saving the baby from the pool, going through or feeling a door, see if it's hot. They go around and going through the window, that type of thing. So, next is just relays, just fun relays to, again, burn off the energy. And then the last is what we call the combat challenge, and it is more fire related, and they actually pick up a fire hose, take it a certain distance. They got to connect a fire hose to a hydrant. They've got to drag a mannequin, and then they go through a 20 by 20 smoked up tent, and they got to follow they have to follow the hose through as if a firefighter is lost. And they got to follow this hose through and get out to the other side. And again, in there it's fake smoke, fake fire, and they come out and then they activate a hose. So that is the morning time, usually done around 12:30. We give them a free lunch. We partner with restaurants in the community. And then we have the privilege of either Lifeline helicopter, medical helicopter coming out, or a stat flight. And we do a big demonstration with the fire trucks and the helicopter for about half hour, 45 minutes. And this is an opportunity for them to get up close and see what firefighters do and what type of equipment that they use. And also the same thing with an aircraft and the high technology that they utilize in that as well. So, and then at the end, the big event is water ball. Water ball is its concept kind of like tug of war, but there is a large ball elevated about 10 to 15 feet on a cable up above. And you get one team over here with a water hose, and they've got to spray and knock that ball a certain distance over to the other team's side. So a lot of fun and getting very wet. So so this is a great event that we provide to the community. It's a great opportunity to show kids in that type of an atmosphere the assets and the equipment that the Carmel Fire Department, Carmel Clay Fire Department has, and how it is used on the level for kids to learn, and a lot of fun doing it as well. So again, we appreciate the partnership, and
how much?
We wish for that to continue. And question?
10,000.
10,000. Yep. And if you're in the area, come out and take a look.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Fair.
Keith, I did that last year.
Yeah.
And I must tell you that even the spectators get wet.
Yeah.
Kids with the hose.
It can happen. That hose slips sometimes. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy, I am so sorry. I had completely skipped over a group, and that's on me. This is our final. Like when I'm eating, it's my final bite.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No apologies needed. My husband has always told me I am virtually impossible to ignore, so I was confident I'd make it up here at some point. My name's Kathy Pelletier. I am the Executive Director with Children's Theraplay in Carmel. We are an equine-assisted physical and occupational therapy facility that serves the needs of special needs children ages 18 months to 13 years. Hippotherapy is a little different from therapeutic riding. Some of you might have some experience with therapeutic riding. Hippotherapy is actually where the therapist use the characteristic movements of the horse to simulate the neuro-functioning and the sensory processing that all therapists are looking to replicate in a therapy session. And we use the horse as a tool to do this. That translates into a beautiful example of the human-animal connection in improving outcomes in healthcare. So one of the things that we are very proud of is that many of the children that we serve their parents have been told they would not do many of the things that they want them to do. So we see a lot of children who take first steps that they thought weren't possible, say first words that weren't possible. They also carry their tray at lunch for the first time when they thought that wasn't possible. So we're really proud of the goals that our children set and the unique ability our clinic has in helping them reach those goals. Our ability to achieve our transformational outcomes comes from a carefully executed hippotherapy practice. And for that reason, we're asking for $12,000 to fund 6 therapists to take continuing education courses from the American Hippotherapy Association. Well-trained therapists are vitally important to the success of our facility. We've experienced explosive demand for our services in the last 2 years. We have 8 new therapists, 2 will be trained this year, and we're hoping to train 6 more in 2020 with your help.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, normally we would take a little break and release you and get on with our meeting, but since we have hardly any left, we're not gonna take the break and you're stuck with us. So, the audit, we had our 2017-18 audit. I can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, we had our audit from State Board of Accounts earlier this year.
Right.
For 2017 and 2018, and it went very well. Debbie's doing the right thing, because everybody gives her the credit, so she's doing it good.
Yeah, Debbie is, and I
Debbie is.
came in for that.
But it went very well. They said they were gonna come in, what they're gonna do here, 2 weeks? They're here 3 days.
Yep.
But that's typical, is 3 days. We almost fell over when they said they're gonna be here for 2 weeks, and thinking, what are they doing? You know, but they got in about 3 days, so it was a good audit. And I'm really glad you held off before everybody left, because the next item is very important. On August the 7th of this year, at this facility, about a year ago, the Broad Ripple National Garden Club came to me about setting a Blue Star Blue Star Memorial plaque out here in front. And basically, you have a Blue Star and you have a blue or a Gold Star. And a Gold Star is for families of military people. A Blue Star is for the community. And they thought, well, this would be a good place because we have the Military Museum right next door. And there, the 4th Thursday of every month, the round table, military guys come in here and gals. And last month they had the, what's the dancing group? The 3 ladies that danced during World War II.
Andrew's sisters.
Andrew's sisters, and it was funny. There was 3 of them dressed up, and it was really, really good. But anyway, at 2 o'clock on August the 7th, we're going to have unfold the plaque, unveil the plaque, and we want to welcome everybody to it. We are going to have some music, some speeches, some all kinds of drinks and food to eat and stuff like that. And it's Tuesday, I think it's a Wednesday, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's a Wednesday, so it's 2 p.m., so leave work early, come down and see us and enjoy it. But we're really proud to do that because I think we are so fortunate to live in this country and have the military we do. So thank you. If you're, now I'll let you go.
Thank you. Any financial comments, board comments, or further announcements? Mary?
I have none.
I just want to thank everybody for their presentations. This will be my first time on it. It's be a tough one to make.
It's not fun.
Oh, I do want to make a comment. I also want to thank all of you for coming. I know what work it takes to get your reports together and you wonder what we're thinking, but we really appreciate the information because when it gets time to really make the decision, we go back through it. And, when we're trying to woodshed, everybody's trying to get their favorite thing done. We're certainly glad for the information to say, yeah, but, and be able to go to bat for all of you. So thank you so much for
And it's
everything.
a record number.
Yeah.
First time we ever went over 500,000. So, you guys got some work to do.
Yeah.
I know it.
And thank you again for coming.
Thank you, guys. I would hear a motion.
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.
Well, thank you.
7:20.